All right. Now, to reamend means to reintroduce the nutrient or microbes or whatever it is, reintroducing the things that make the plant grow. So if you've used salt-based newts, then you're going to have to flush it and reintroduce some newts at the proper times. With organics, all you have to do is just reactivate the microbial activity, and you'll do that with the Dream Beans Finisher Pack from Growganica. All right. Everybody always asks me, well, what do you rate? It depends on the pot size, and it depends on how much. I mean, did it look like there were still newts left? It's kind of an eyeball thing, but just get with me if anybody's looking to reamend their finished Bio 365 or any other living soil stuff, and they want to reamend it with the Growganica Finisher Pack, or the Dream Beans Finisher Pack. What that's going to do is, especially reintroducing those microbes, is definitely going to give your plant the best start. One thing that Alan said to me that I kind of, I just never really even thought about it, is that let's say you have a plant, and you've got a plant right here, and you've seen it, you grow it, it grew fantastic, and you harvested it, and it looked great all the way up to harvest, okay? You didn't see any nutrient deficiencies. You saw swelling in the bud calyxes. You saw the bulbous calyx formation. You saw all the things you wanted to see. Well, what that lets you know, I'll kind of reverse engineer it, that lets you know that your rhizosphere was very healthy. And that didn't just stop. It didn't just go away, okay? And so when you have that plant that you just harvested, take it out, take those roots, okay? Take those roots, get as much of that root ball as you can out of there, okay? Me personally, I would, after every time you do this, take the pot out and fluff that soil back up, okay? Mix it back up, then put it back in the pot, okay? Wet it down good, and then go ahead and add your microbe tea, and that's going to get those microbes active and back started. And you're going to add a little bit of the veg, okay? That's going to give you the proper things, and it's going to give them the proper amounts of nitrogen at the beginning. That's the main thing. Because what I've always done is, I had a pot, okay, I pulled the plant. Well, that pot may sit there for, who knows? I mean, I've still got ones that are there from a year ago. And so what's happened is that the soil has dried out, and all the microbial activity and all the microbe life has died. Womp, womp, womp. I let it die. And so if you continue to maintain that rhizosphere as if there was a plant in it, you will be so much better off. You can, these folks that have had these living soil beds for years and years, I've seen lots of California, oh man, I've had the same bed out there for 15 years, I don't have to do anything. And it's because they're able to continue that microbe life cycle, and that their microbes never die, okay? So you take that plant out, you reamend it with Bio 360, with Growganica Micro Tea, a little bit of veg, and there's another one in there that I can't remember what it is. I still need to get with Alan. A little bit of the veg, a little bit of the microbe tea, and you're going to continue to feed those microbes. And you're going to use that same pot the next time that you plant. But you want to, if you're waiting, if there's a gap, just keep that pot watered. Just keep it kind of watered, a little bit damp. You don't have to keep it dripping wet. No sopping, soaking wet pots. Just keep it moist, and you'll be amazed at how much better you see the start of your grow go if you do it this way. Okay, and this, again, these are all just things that, again, maintaining your focus on the rhizosphere and maintaining your focus on that it's so much easier than the plants. Mainly because the soil, you can't really see what's going on under it. What happens is you see the end result. If you're taking care of that rhizosphere, if you're maintaining your root zone health, and you're doing all the things properly, your plant is going to look amazing. Okay? And so, again, if you take the focus on that, then you really don't ever have to worry about anything. That's the approach that I took, because I was like a lot of folks who I stressed and really put myself into a serious state of anxiety when I was first started out growing, because any spot on a leaf, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff, so any leaf spots, anything, burnt tips, any tacoing of the leaves, any curdling of the leaves, anything like that, it would stress me out. I would try to fix it, and I loved them to death a bunch of times. And so then kind of when I shifted to the focus on the rhizosphere and how I could actually, just take my focus on away from what the leaves look like, because I'll tell every single person that's watching and all the ones that watch behind, the leaves are a good indicator as to the plant's health. They're by means, and no way, shape, or form, the end-all, be-all. Because do you know where those leaves end up, folks? They end up on the cutting room floor. You don't use them. You never smoke them. You absolutely have virtually zero use. And so, while yes, they are an indicator of what's going on with the plant, letting it rule and dictate your entire methodology and how you grow, it wasn't for me. It was entirely too stressful. And so then I started to get a little bit more into soil science and into root health. And when I did that, it allowed me to really kind of free up the mind space to be occupied by every brown leaf or rust-colored spot on every stem or whatever it was. So it was, so once I started doing that, and it was actually with deep water culture. It was actually with my exploration of dissolved oxygen to the root zone that really, really got me, because I was able to nerd out really hard. But not on the top part of the plant. It was all on the bottom plant, all on the bottom part, and all in the root zone. And so by focusing on that, and then, sure enough, I'll never forget the grow. I mean, I'll remember it to the day. I just was like, wow, this is going way better than it ever has before. Wow, this is after doing it for 10 years. And so I was like, well, this is super rad. I love it that I'm able to focus here on the root zone, and as long as I do the things here in this little bucket, this little part of the growing operation, if I do things right here, the rest of it's going to work itself out and come out top quality, come out top shelf. And again, with deep water culture and salt-based nutrients, that maintaining a healthy rhizosphere isn't about necessarily just creating a micro. You can't really create a microbial environment. It's almost the opposite of what you're doing when it comes to sterility in your rhizosphere. Because in a deep water culture, what you don't want is root rot. You don't want the pathogens that can create and attack the roots in a water solution or water suspension. And so there's a whole different set of things that you got to do. You got to keep the water temperature low. Okay, you got to some people use things like HydroGuard or a little bit of H2O2, hydrogen peroxide. These are things to keep that environment sterile, because what you're doing in a deep water culture environment is you are the one, instead of those little microbes that are responsible for giving that plant what it needs, when it needs it. And if you're off, that's why I can't remember who it was, Dave, maybe, I can't remember who it was. Somebody just approached me and was like, man, I think I'm going to do hydro, man. Hydro's the way to go. Well, absolutely. If you can nail hydro, and if you are, again, a weed nerd like me and like to monitor it constantly. I sit in my room and watch my plants grow. I still do it to this day, and I did it way more back then. I mean, I just lived in there. I just lived in there. Now I actually have stuff to do, so I can't live in there, or I would. And being able to kind of free yourself up from the anxieties and stressors that can come along with it, because this is supposed to be, the cultivation thing. It's about stress relief. It's about anxiety relief. It's not supposed to be something that stresses you out all the damn time. Easier said than done, I know. But whenever I was able to take the switch away from focusing on every rust-colored spot and every yellow dot on every leaf, and just focus on what I knew the roots needed, I was able to do that. And so your deep water culture is going to have a sterile type environment where you are responsible for feeding it nutrients, keeping the pH in check, and maintaining maximum and optimal oxygen levels. Whereas in a living and organic soil setup, you are not. You are relying on nature and the beautiful evolution that we've come to in this world, where they actually all do all the stuff. Okay? And real quick, folks, if you haven't already, go over to dreambeans.net and grab your